All right, Jackson, Mississippi, and all surrounding areas, we are live on the Clay Edwards Show, your free-range human show of choice. Your daily dose of reality radio starts now. We're streaming live on the Save Jackson Facebook page, the TuneIn app, and, of course, WYAB.com. And like most normal people, you're probably listening on the radio at 103.9 WYAB. We got a big show this morning. I know it's highly anticipated. There's some things y'all want my opinions on. There's some things I want to give my opinion on. And we're going to do just that this morning here on the Clay Edwards Show. Look, if you want to chime in, give me a few minutes before you call, but I do want all your opinions on all this stuff. The Mack Haik Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Flowood phone line is 601-879-0002. The text line for the show is 769-241-1944. One more time, the text line is 769-241-1944, and the Mack Haik Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram phone line here in the studio is 601-879-0002. Again, I am streaming live on Facebook. If you're listening there, you will not be able to hear any of the phone calls that come in, so I do recommend turning on the radio or one of the other live streaming options. First and foremost, let's start this off. Rest in peace, Mr. Robert Davis, and condolences to your family. Mr. Davis was the murder victim in Clinton a couple of days ago. He was the leader and founder of the Better Men's Society, and was apparently out in his community actually doing really good things and helping to mentor youth and make the city and Hinds County overall a better place. I know Sheriff Tyree Jones wrote a very nice piece about him on Facebook last night. They had recently met or had recently linked up and were going to start doing some things, and Sheriff Tyree was going to commit some resources to helping the Better Men's Society. And I love that name too, by the way, the Better Men's Society. That's I could put that on a shirt, right? With Better BMS. I like that. So look, man, let's address the elephant in the room. Let's get it started here. Some of the other things we're going to talk about today. The mayor says the city is safe. Do you agree? I probably don't. Also, Roe Vs Wade. It leaked late last night, right as I was getting ready to go to bed. It appears that Roe versus Wade is going to be overturned, and the power will go back to the states on the abortion stuff. We're going to talk about that. I'd love to hear your opinions on that stuff. First and foremost, the murder suspect, he is not guilty yet. The suspect, proven innocent to proven guilty, regardless of what our public opinions on things are, is my old running buddy, Napoleon Polo, the cipher voice Edwards. Napoleon and I had a falling out a few months back around the fall. I posted a picture of some cars blocking the King Edward and said, current situation in front of the King Edward, you can't go down Capitol Street. He put me on blast, called me a racist. He came down my road, as he likes to say. And I just ignored him, blocked him, cut him off. That was the last communication Napoleon and I had, we didn't even have communication. That was the last time I saw anything he posted. So that was it for Napoleon and I. And that's kind of where I stand on it. But I'll say this. I'm not going to be one of these people who says, oh, man, somebody I know did something dirty. I'm just going to pretend that I never knew him. That's not how I am. That's not how I roll. Napoleon, I tell people all the time, I'm not going to change my mind because I am a man of character, whether y'all like me or not. I tell the truth. I wouldn't be sitting in this chair. I wouldn't have a 5-day-a-week radio show had it not been for Napoleon inviting me on his show on WPBQ back in the summer of 2020 and asking me to host it. And with opening that door, it let me see that, hey, I enjoy doing this. I might be able to do this. Some of y'all may think I'm good at it. Some of y'all may think I'm suck, and that's fine. We are all entitled to our opinions. I won't forget that Napoleon gave me this, gave me this opportunity, led me down this road, however you want to look at it. I've said it on radio shows multiple times. It's available to listen to on podcasts. I think it's episode 5 of this very show. We had him on, and we had him on another episode as well. So you can go back and look in the archives and find multiple episodes of Napoleon and I here on the Clay Edwards Show. And if you dig deeper on the Save Jackson YouTube channel, you can find a bunch of videos of us doing live podcasts. So I can't take any of that back. I'm not going to delete any of that stuff. I'm not hiding from any of that stuff. I think that would be foolish. It is what it is. I don't have to agree with that anything he did. I don't have to agree with any of his actions. Again, I felt like he stabbed me in the back, and I'm no longer his friend. And I won't be there. I don't have his back. I don't really care what the outcome of this is. If he's guilty, he's guilty. If he's not, he's not. This is the first time I've addressed anything to do with him or the original stabbing me in the back. And that's kind of just where I stand on it. We're all innocent until proven guilty. And that's kind of how I'm at. That's where I'm at with it. That's where I roll with it. And I don't know what else to say. That's really all I got on it. If you want to add to it, the Mac Haik of Flowood phone line is 601-879-0002. And we have got a call here live. It appears to be Mr. Dixon. Mr. Dixon, good morning.
Morning, Clay. Please forgive me for calling in again this morning. But with this momentous news, I just want all people of goodwill to be on their knees thanking God this morning for this opinion.
Amen. Look, God shined down on the Supreme Court, and we can thank President Trump for this.
Again, say that 100 more times, because he is the only candidate that ever promised to do something and follow through with it.
Yep. We can thank President Trump for getting the scotuses we need on the court. And now we are turning the power back over to the states. Abortion is not being outlawed for all the lefties ready to jump off a bridge. It just depends on where you live. It will be all but outlawed in Mississippi.
Yet, let's just put it like this. Yet,
yes.
Well, what you want to bet that it wasn't somebody on Chief Justice Roberts' staff, probably one of his clerks, that leaked this thing?
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. They're trying to create fear within the SCOTUS to overturn, for somebody to change their opinion by leaking it early.
Right.
I do believe that. Which, wouldn't that just be a insurrection and a threat to our democracy, Mr. Dixon?
That's what it was, because if you know anything about the history of Obamacare, that's what happened. They did it, and they used threats and intimidation to sway votes in the opposite direction. But all I can say, Mr. Clay, is thank you for what you do, you and the staff at WYAB, Kim, Jameson, and everybody. Keep on fighting the good fight, man. And we all need to send up a prayer of thanksgiving to God that a lot of innocent lives are going to be saved.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Have a blessed day.
You too. Bye.
All right, well, again, if you're streaming this live on Save Jackson Facebook page, you won't be able to hear the incoming phone calls. I please implore you to tune in live on the radio at 103.9 WYAB or WYAB.com. And, of course, the TuneIn app. We are also on there. Just go type in WYAB. And, all right, man, phones are lit up. We got another call this morning on the Mac Haik of Flowood phone line. Good morning, caller. You're on there.
Hey, Clay.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, why don't you explain to people how Polo stabbed you in the back? Because if he just had a different opinion of you and what you thought about blocking Capitol Street, make it very clear how he stabbed you and what made that.
Well, because I would think if you were friends, and I consider Polo a friend, I'll say that. I consider him a friend. If you have a problem with a friend, would you initially try to reach out to that friend if he did something that grinded your gears, or you just go straight to social media and put him on blast?
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. I've heard your opinions on different things, and I don't agree with you on a lot of stuff.
That's fine. But I don't even know who I'm talking to say that we're friends or not.
Yeah, that don't matter one way or another. I just want to know how he stabbed you in the back.
No, that's how I feel like he's. I mean, posting a picture
on a whole lot of things.
Posting a picture of cars parked on Capitol Street didn't seem like much of a crime. They were blocking Capitol Street. I posted a picture of it. Didn't say anything negative at all. Hell, I didn't even know what was going on. I said, "Hey, current situation in front of the King Edward," and automatically that makes me a flaming racist. Because I guess it was a JSU homecoming party. Like I was supposed to know it was a.
You probably should have found out exactly what was going on. That's what you should have did.
That's a bunch of block. It doesn't matter what was going on. They were illegally blocking the Capitol Street.
Yeah. You don't live in Jackson. You don't have to worry about that kind of thing.
Well, it's my capital city, and I pay taxes on it, so I will worry about it. Thank you.
Yeah,
So, look, there's that. And again, if you're not going to be able to hear these phone calls, so I recommend tuning in to the 103.9 WYAB live stream. And look, everybody's not going to agree with me, and that's fine. But that is my opinion. If you're call yourself a friend to somebody or whatever, the acquaintance, friend, if that person does something to you, do you run straight to social media and post about it? Or do you call that person and say, hey, man, here's where I disagree with you. And I got plenty of friends that don't agree with everything I say. And if you listen to the show, any at all, I tell you all the time, you're never going to, if you agree with everything I say, you're a crazy person. Period. I'm a crazy person. So if you agree with everything I say, you're a crazy person. I expect people to disagree with me, but you're supposed to have discourse. You're supposed to talk it out. I don't know that going straight to social media to try to build up some followers on your new page because your old one got deleted by calling out one of the big fish in the pond. I don't know if that's the way you do it, but hey, to each their own. And that was the reaction he chose to have. And my reaction was to ignore that. And we're going to talk about it now because all of y'all have blown me up on social media the last 24 hours. Telling you, oh, look what your boy did. Look what your boy did. You know, first off, again, not my boy, but I will say it's allegedly. You know, it appears to strongly point that direction, but at the end of the day, it is still allegedly. All right, we've got another caller here on the Matt Haik of Flowood phone line. Hey, caller, you're on there.
Yeah, you know, as far as the abortion thing is concerned, so you guys are for you anti-abortion, right?
Yes.
What about circumstantial abortion?
No, they just put it up for adoption if they don't want it.
Okay. Do you think that's human to do something like this? Have a young girl was raped or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I know, but it's such a that's the first thing they bring up, but it's also the least likely scenario. That and incest, I think it accounts for like 0.03% of abortions are from that.
But they do occur, though.
Sure, lots of things occur.
Yeah, but so you're saying that the law is saying that a young lady, she can't have abortion or she can have, they give her 15 weeks to have one. How does it go?
I'm saying Clay Edwards' personal opinion, not speaking for anybody else, is they should be 100% outlawed unless, hell, there is no unless, period. I was going to say unless the mother's life is in danger, but, you know, as life goes.
Okay, but have you ever heard of a situation where, you know, you people, you want more kids to be born or whatever, black kids, all kids in America, but are you taking care of these kids, you know, with taxation without representation? Now, is the government going to provide schooling for these children the right way? You know what I mean?
Well, if you can't afford to have children and raise them, you should not be having kids.
I'm talking about the public school system is in shambles, but you guys want more kids.
Maybe they can start saving up and send them to private school.
Yeah, sure, Clay. But you know, public schools
demand better out of your public schools. There are good there's some great public school systems in Mississippi. Jackson's public school system is crumbling, but there's some great public school systems right here in the immediate Tri-County area, Thomas.
And another thing with community involvement, like you guys don't even get, something to do. You feel me? That's nothing for teenagers and young kids to even do in Jackson and in Mississippi, period. Like, you ever been to Tylertown, Mississippi?
Well, Andy Gibson gave the kids something to do.
Tylertown, Mississippi.
And they brought the guns and started shooting each other.
Mississippi. As a teenager, what you gonna do?
Make more.
Ride a motorcycle in the mud?
Make more babies, yes. I grew up riding motorcycles in the mud. That is fun.
I'm just saying. It's 2022, though, so you got to get these kids. Y'all want folks to have all these kids, but y'all ain't got nothing to do on the back end.
They gave them something to do this past weekend, and they brought the guns and shot 5 of them.
Because ain't nothing to do in Jackson, I guess. But they shoot people.
But they brought a free fair to town and a crawfish boil, and the kids showed up with guns to shoot each other.
Come on, now the fair been coming to Jackson forever, man. Find something else. Do put a water park here, like they got in Baton Rouge. No. Do something, man.
They tried that. It got messed up.
No, they need to build another one. They need to put something in the community for these kids to do, so they can stay out of trouble, like they really do.
They could read a book.
They don't want nobody to have an abortion on a child that they got raped.
So
got impregnated by.
Here's a theory. I mean, if you insist on have safe sex, have safe sex. Take birth control.
That child bad. That child was messed up behind that. What about do y'all have programs for these children that get raped that produced through rape?
Yes, public schools.
No, I'm talking about a program for the mental psychology of the fact that the child mother don't even want them.
Well, there's a lot of that going on, Thomas, and yes, there's plenty of programs out there
for
children that are unloved.
Y'all not even adopting these kids at this foster place in Mississippi.
There's plenty of kids being adopted all over the world, Thomas.
Man, it's overwhelming. A lot of them up in foster care in Mississippi. Ain't nobody adopting kids in Mississippi, man.
So you're saying they should be aborted?
If somebody got raped, yes.
But what about you? So you're saying all these kids in foster care are from rape?
Some of them more than likely, but ain't nobody adopting them in Mississippi either because there's a whole bunch of them up there that not being adopted. So basically, y'all talking out both ends.
All right, Thomas. I appreciate it, brother.
Y'all ain't even adopting these kids, man. Get off the phone, man.
I didn't have the kids. I took care of mine. All right. Hey, we got a caller on hold. Caller, stay on hold. We got to take a break. If you're listening live or watching live on Facebook, we're tuning out of here. Turn on the radio, 103.9 WYAB, or stream online at WYAB.com. We'll be right back here on the Clay Edwards Show right after this message. All right, welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Happy to have everybody here this morning. So it's going to be a cloudy but warm day here in Central Mississippi on this Tuesday. This segment is going to be brought to you by Watkins Construction and Roofing. A roof repair can cause you a lot of stress. Choosing the right roofing company to repair your roof is very important. Most contractors will try to convince you that replacement is the only way to go, and that, my friends, is not the Watkins way. They believe in an honest assessment that doesn't necessarily mean replacement. In most cases, all you need is a repair. So whether you have a leaky roof, need chimney roof repair, flat roof repair, roof water leak, shingle roof repair, metal roof repair, chimney flashing repair, Watkins Construction and Roofing is your go-to roof repair specialist. Give Watkins Construction and Roofing a call today for your complimentary roof assessment at 601-966-8233 or check them out online at watkinsconstructioninc.com. Before we got the phone call, I want to clean up the first segment just a little bit on my point about Polo. Napoleon. I said that he helped kind of point me in this direction. And again, I'm very appreciative for that. I started doing podcasts after that, ended up streaming my show once a week on Saturdays right before college football kicked off here on WYAB. It got enough of a reaction that, and with the help of Mr. Kim Wade, I got the opportunity to start doing a show live every Monday, and that grew to 5 days a week. So I'm always grateful, everybody that's helped you out along the way. And regardless of what evil thing he is alleged of doing, I will still be grateful for being given the opportunity or extending the hand of fellowship to lead me in the direction that I am now. So, but I can still have different opinions. I can be appreciative of something somebody did, even if they did something bad later on, allegedly, or to me, what I consider personally betrayal of friendship. All right, we got a caller here on the Matt Haik of Flowood phone line. Hey, caller, you're on the air.
Are you talking to me?
We're on the air, yes, ma'am. I am talking to you.
I'm sorry, I wasn't sure.
Oh, you're good.
I wanted to say something about that idiot that just called. He is 100% stupid. But at any rate, most of the women that are getting abortions are women who are laying down just having sex and get up, get pregnant, and then they lay down, get pregnant, and then they get up and they say, okay, I don't want the baby. I don't want this. It ain't that many cases where they're being raped or having a baby out of incest. It might be a lot, but I don't think it's as many as these Christians want you to think it is. The idiot that just called, the reason he was saying that about ain't nobody adopting children. He don't know anybody because ain't too many black folks adopting children. I mean, there are some, but it ain't as many as other races that are doing. That's why he don't know anybody. And he probably running around throwing himself around and having many babies and don't want to take care of them. And so let's just kill them.
Yeah, I think I can't remember the exact statistic off the top of my head, but it's like 0.03% or something like that. I'm sure somebody will correct me. Of abortions are from rape or incest. It's one of those. It's like, well, we may get hit by an asteroid today, so we should do this crazy thing every day for a once in a million year thing.
That's right.
And
he's an idiot. I don't like hearing him talk. Don't nobody want to hear his voice. He's a disturbing person. Oh my God, he just does something to my system. Huh.
Did you hear him yesterday?
I heard some of what that idiot said. He's a complete stupid idiot.
People were all over the board. I had a bunch of people that say, his message may not be 100% wrong, but the delivery is off.
He's exhausting. He really is. I mean, oh my God, shut up. But anyway, I just needed to say that, and I doggone sure needed to call him ignorant because I know you're not going to do it, so I'll do it for you.
Well, I appreciate you. How you been? You been good? I ain't heard from you in a while.
Everything's great. Thank you. It's all good.
All right. Well, look, have a blessed one.
Just been busy.
Don't ever hesitate to pick up the phone. We always love hearing from you.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Have a blessed one. Bye-bye. All right. We got another call lined up here. Hey, caller, you're on there.
Hey, good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good, brother. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. Hey, on this abortion thing, I hope it does get overturned because it was a silly ruling from the start, and it was only indicative to that one person. And I don't understand how one person's unique whatever set a whole precedent for people to just do something irresponsible. This ain't got a darn thing to do with women's rights and my body, my choice, and all this nonsense. Okay, because if it is about that, that can't be your only argument. And see, the Mississippi Supreme Court knew this. So every time some abortion advocate, oh, my body, my choice, that's not a precedent. Am I lying, Clay?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, my body, my choice is not an argument. That's not a precedent.
That's like me walking into Jackson or anywhere else with my gun and saying, my gun, my choice, I'll shoot it or not.
Well, I called, that worthless station WNPR with them ladies on there one day, and I said, look, I don't even want to get into the whole aspect. I said, but if this is the argument you're going to use, I'm just going to say my money, my choice, because money is a person. I should be able to terminate it anytime I want to.
Yeah, they're all about my body, my choice until we tried to use that about vaccines. Thank you, Kristen, for sending that in. It should be about if we're going to use liberal logic, I want to be able to use it across the board and not just on the one little thing that it's okay to use it on.
Well, the government already said that money, your money, corporation money, is a person, right? So how about if I wanted to terminate child support? My money, my choice, right?
Amen.
Now, y'all you can get in your panties in the water all you want to. Go. I gave you the wrong website. It's blackdemographics.org or .com where I get all these statistics at. But statistically speaking, men are disproportionately paying child support more than women. The child support system is a liberal institution and it's unconstitutional. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be obligated to take care of your kids. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is to make it monetary based and put a third-party company such as Young Williams in charge of it is woefully unconstitutional. And the day is going to come when that president gets set. You understand? Because it's no different than any other commission or programs that we set in place that disproportionately affected people, like the Sovereign Commission. You understand? It's going to get struck down sooner or later. As soon as somebody and one of these worthless lawyers get the courage to bring it to a court of law, it's going to be struck down. So if you're going to use the logic that it's my body, my choice, well, guess what? Money is a person. So I got the right to terminate my money to you whenever I see fit because it's my money, my choice. Yeah,
and kind of on that note about lawyers and government overreach and whatnot. What about the not truth and reconciliation? I'm sorry, that's what we need when Trump gets back in office. But how about this ministry of truth? Talk about something that's going to get struck down, and I'm hoping DeSantis leads the way. And I'm disappointed that Tate Reeves hasn't already spoken up like DeSantis has and said we will not stand for that here in Mississippi.
That's a propaganda wing, which you don't understand. That's just like since everybody wanted to throw out the word Nazi, and your president is the one who's actually wants to send $30 billion to help some Nazis over in Ukraine. Now, I don't hear y'all talking about Nazis all of a sudden now when those are verified
Derek,
Nazis.
Derek, you're not saying it right. They refer to them as literally Nazis.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to put the literally in front of it.
but what I'm saying is this: when you're coming up with commissions such as the Truth Commission, this is just like the Sovereign Commission, just like the Gestapo or the SA or anybody like that. They did the same thing, pushing what, Clay? Their narrative, their truth.
Propaganda.
Yeah,
Propaganda, man. What a time to be alive, man. What a time to be alive.
Well, you know what? Like I said, like my ancestors before me, which I have, both Caucasian and Native and African American ancestry, I'm not going to stand for it. I will pick up arms and fight.
Do it, brother.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Derek, look, man, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate your input on the show. I appreciate your friendship, man. And you're one of the most intelligent people I know, and you remind me of that every day when you call, man. I appreciate you.
Oh, well, I really appreciate that, but I want people to think about it. If you want to support abortion, about your body, your choice, your argument, okay. So I tell you what, if that's the way we're going to play it, money is considered a person according to the government. So your body, your choice, my money, my choice. How about that? Let's see how well that works.
Yeah. Hey, who was it that said businesses are people, corporations are people? I'm terrible with numbers. Is it the 14th or 15th Amendment that gave blacks the right to vote? Yeah, but it was one of the congressmen or senators or whatever a couple of years ago said that corporations are people.
Yeah, because they gained that right with the 14th Amendment.
Oh, really? Is that what it was?
Yes, that recognized blacks as a person.
Wow.
And it gave them the right to vote. They used that same law to justify corporations being a person. It's the same thing I'm talking about. But I can't remember the 14th or 15th Amendment. It constitutionally made blacks a whole person and gave us the right to vote. Well, corporations went back and said, well, we're a person. We got to vote and everything like that. And, yes, it was ruled that under the 14th, I can't remember which amendment it was, that corporations and money are a person. Yep. So if that's the way we're going to go, guess what? My money, my choice.
Absolutely. All right, brother, I got to jump off here. Appreciate you, Derek.
Uh-huh.
All right, bye. All right, man. We're gonna bring Thomas back on before we go to the break here. He's been texting. Thomas, you're on the Mac Haik and Flowood phone line.
Yeah, tell that imbecile female that just called. She an imbecile, and tell her that there's 4,500 foster kids in the state of Mississippi now. Tell her imbecile behave himself to go adopt all 4,500 kids right now. Tell her to do it. Well, you go adopt too, Clay. 4,500 kids.
You gonna meet me down there?
Foster care right now. Go adopt them.
You gonna meet me down there and adopt too, also? Well, let's use your polygamy. Let's use your polygamy suggestion yesterday.
I'm just like the rest of y'all in Mississippi. I ain't adopting no kid that ain't none of mine. I'm conservative. I'm a conservative dude. They don't adopt kids.
You gonna make a good stepdaddy someday. Bye, Thomas. Bye, Thomas. Bye. We're going to a break. You're listening to the Clay Edwards Show. Give us a call, 601-879-0002 on the Mac Haik of Flowood phone line, and we'll be right back after this break on 103.9 WYAB.
America, you love your country, so it goes without saying that you also love your ride. And Auto Armour in Flowood wants to help you make that ride shine. Auto Armour in Flowood is Central Mississippi's premier automotive detail and ceramic coating shop, servicing any type of vehicle, including ATVs, boats, and more. Need just a quick detail or paint correction? Auto Armour can make it happen. But if you're set to hit the road in a blaze of glory while flying the old red, white, and blue, Auto Armour should be your first and last call to give your ride a full ceramic coating. Auto Armour is locally owned and operated by the loud and proud American patriot Clay Edwards. Auto Armour also proudly backs the blue, all military, and first responders. So don't forget to ask for your discount. Call 601-260-0858. 601-260-0858. Or stop in today, fellow Americans. Auto Armour is located at 4394 Mangum Drive in Flowood. Online at AutoArmourMS.com. Auto Armour, unapologetically American.
All right, welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. We are live here on 103.9 WYAB on what's going to be a muggy Mississippi day. I think I heard the high was like 87, 88 degrees today. It's going to be cloudy, so it shouldn't be too bad out there. You know, coming about mid-August, we'll be yearning for these 87-degree days, talking about, man, it's football weather. It gets down to 87 degrees. I try to keep that in mind on warmer days early in summer. It's like it ain't summer yet, Hulse. It is not summer yet. All right, real quick, this segment's going to be brought to you by our friends over at the Mississippi Karters Association and Drive Your Line. They want to thank everybody that came out to the big race this past weekend out there at Buddy Butts Park. And you can check them out online at misskarting.com for information about their upcoming events, or if you're looking to get into the karting, racing go-karts, or maybe you got an old kart, you need to get it revised, and karts, parts, accessories, anything like that, you can check out driveyourline.com. That is the official karting supplier of the Mississippi Karters Association. You can find them on Facebook at Mississippi Karters Association. Give them a shout out. My good friend Miss Christy Kendall will get you going in the right direction, whether you need to buy a kart, rebuild a kart, get signed up for kart racing. You just want to take the kids out to Buddy Butts Park and see them race like they did this weekend. She can get you going in the right direction on all of that. All right, and we have got a caller here on the Mac Haik of Flowood phone line. Hey, caller, thank you for staying on hold. You're on there.
Yeah, first of all, I don't want to call Thomas an idiot, but he's really hard to listen to.
He definitely has his moments.
Well, yeah, he definitely has his moments. And when I find myself agreeing with him, I just don't know what I question the world. But as far as the abortion thing, I don't know why everybody. So my take on the abortion thing, I used to have like the conservative viewpoint of it, where abortion was wrong, or the biblical viewpoint of it where abortion was wrong. But my take on it now is just the government shouldn't be involved in it. Because, people are going to get abortions regardless. I hate to be so graphic, but coat hangers,
Well, you're being honest.
Whatever they can. Huh?
I said, well, you're being honest. Sometimes the truth is ugly.
Yeah. If a woman doesn't want the baby, they're going to find a way to get rid of the baby. So my take on it is just we shouldn't have government involved in it. But, it should be like any other medical procedure. Like, it should be wildly expensive. And only doctors who want to do abortions do abortions. That's my only take on it.
No, everybody's gonna have their opinion on it. I've kind of drawn my line in the sand. But as you get older, you see things differently. I used to be more liberal on it. I was the other way. I was like, whatever you want to do. But as I've gotten older, really after I had kids, that's what it boils down to. After my daughter was born, it just changed my opinion completely on the thing.
Yeah, and I was the total opposite way. I was super like, no, abortion's wrong in any instance. Like, but after I had my son, it literally is. I don't have I have a say in it with the mother, but it's up to her whether she wants to keep that child or not.
Yeah, I do believe there should be some father. I believe the father should have some say so if it's knowingly his child. There's a lot of gray area there that we could probably eat up a whole show talking about.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Like, of course I should have a say because a woman can't create a child on her own, but in the world that we live in right now, that's not an issue. But it's just like, still as a Christian though, it's just like, how are we judging these women who aren't in the best, circumstances, even if they are? That's up to God to judge them. The only thing you can really do is pray for them and pray that they make the best decisions. But given the world that they live in, it's easier to have an abortion, or it's easier to like have that child and then get on some type of government assistance. And then I read a book a long time ago called Freakonomics,
Yeah, I read that book too, man. The two different ways you spell Ashley can make a huge difference in the outcome of your life.
Yeah, and they also equated how in, I think, Los Angeles, that abortion lowered the crime rate because
it was extremely racist. I mean, you couldn't say that what they said now. There's no way you could say what they said now. Yeah, they said that basically low-income families, people from low-income areas having abortions lowered the crime rate because their kids would have most likely become criminals.
Yeah, I mean, but they backed it up with statistics. I mean, yes, it's very, like...
They weren't wrong. They weren't wrong. I mean, statistically, it is correct. If you bring a child into poverty and they were raised in poverty, their chance of becoming or getting into a life of crime are exponentially higher.
And that's either white or black.
That's why I didn't say the race. I just said low income areas. You know, because whether it's a trailer park in BFE, Mississippi, or in the Mullah Jackson, you know, the same thing.
Exactly. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, I mean, and I don't want to say Thomas's point, but I mean, if you have these kids coming into, like we said, low income areas, and parents, they're not going to live up to their responsibilities, then, I mean, we're just adding to the problem at that point of crime in Jackson, and then it's just a cycle of turning on the Clay Edwards show and listening to crime in Jackson. So
I know.
It's just like,
I try not to just rinse and repeat the same thing every day. I like deeper conversations like this, but it is hard because it's coming at you at a 360-degree angle. Yeah.
And to Thomas's, like abortion, for rape and incest, like incest is 0.5%, and abortion, I mean, for rape is like less than 1%. So
it was extremely low. I mean, but they use that Hail Mary as their defining example all the time. You know, they would probably have a much better argument if they would quit using that argument all the time.
Like, it's just common sense. Like, oh, I'm as a criminal, why would I rape somebody and get them pregnant when they can just do a DNA test and find out that I'm the father? And then, like, okay.
Yeah, and we had somebody on here a few weeks ago that was, I don't remember if it was on air or off air, so I won't say their name off the top of my head, but they just mentioned that, you know, a lot of times during rape, the body is traumatized, and there's some studies that show when the body's under a lot of trauma, it's harder to get pregnant. And I'm just scientifically, that's what they say. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. So it's actually harder to get pregnant under extreme trauma than not.
Yeah.
But I'm not justifying. That's a slippery slope to slide down right there. But just making the point. But look,
that's
brother,
what I live by, slippery slopes. But it was nice talking to you.
Hey, man, I appreciate you calling in. Thank you for listening.
Yep.
Bye. All right, we got another caller on hold. Look, caller, we're going to have to take a break. We'll be right back after this. You're listening to the Clay Edwards Show on 103.9 WYAB. Into the Clay Edwards Show. We got about 2 minutes here before we go to our top of the hour news break, and then we'll be back live around 8:07. But it looks like we got a caller here real quick, so let's take the call before the break. On the Mac Haik Flowood phone line. Caller, you're on there?
Yeah, I've got a solution to all this. How about they just stop hooking up the random guys in protest? That'll show everybody.
Agreed.
You know, get a little morality back in this world. You know, maybe it's not such a bad thing that we don't kill babies. You know, maybe it's not such a bad thing that you actually get married or actually date somebody before you let them into your body. Not necessarily a bad thing.
No. I mean, how about some abstinence? And somebody texted a minute ago and said that, you know, the free birth control is available for every female in America.
Yes.
You know, free birth control is available. You know, use some condoms. If they insist on teaching sex in schools, how about safe sex?
Well, that goes against the agenda because they don't want to teach safe sex; they want to teach gay sex.
Yep,
totally different.
Oh man, you know, in any other upside down world, I would say that the train was coming off the tracks, but this is just par for the course, isn't it?
You better start teaching the kids how to light fires and trap fish, and for that sharpen a knife. because this world's crashing. It's just going down.
Look, man, by the end of summer, I hope you've all got your food rations.
You better start working on them now. Harvest Dry freeze dryers. They're great. They're easy to operate. And once you get food processed, your food lasts for 25 years. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yep. All right, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Have a good one.
All right. Let's see here, man. One more call real quick. Hey, caller, you're on there. You got about 10 seconds. Who's this?
It's Mike.
Hey,
how you doing?
Mike, hey, hang on through the break, brother, and I'm going to bring you back on. Or if you just want to call back at about 8:05.
Perfect.
All right, bye. Mike's going to tell us a great story about adoption. We'll be right back. Back into hour number 2 of the Clay Edwards Show live here on 103.9 WYAB. We're streaming worldwide at WYAB.com and on the TuneIn app. And if you miss any of this show, go to your favorite podcasting platform. We had hour number 1 was straight fire. Hour number 2 is going to be no cooler. All of it will be available pretty much immediately after the show is over. Go to your favorite podcasting or music streaming platform or ClayEdwardsShow.com, and all the links are available there. Our entire catalog of shows are available. I think this is episode number 255 of actual live Clay Edwards shows here at WYAB. So that's pretty cool, wasn't it? I thought I'd be lucky if I made it to 100. Now I feel really lucky to make it to 255. All right, man, look, I've got a buddy of mine sitting on hold. I want to jump straight in on this. This is Mr. Mike Watkins. He's going to tell us a story about adoption. Mike, you there, brother?
Yeah, man.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing well.
So I
want to say,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's a complex issue, man. It really is. And until we get honest with each other and try to talk to people like humans, we're not going to make any headway on this, you know? So I appreciate you bringing up these hot button topics and trying to talk it through, man.
Well, I was thinking about dyeing my hair purple, getting a BLM shirt, and going down and screaming at people to make them understand that this is my body, my choice. But
we got more in common than we do apart, man. And when we realize that, we can actually make headway on issues, you know. So I appreciate it, brother.
No, yeah, appreciate you. What you got, man? So you had texted me during the last segment, and we were talking. Thomas had brought up adoption. Everybody should run out and adopt these kids. And you know, I don't disagree. People should adopt kids.
Who has $20,000 sitting around? My wife and I, she had 2 children. I'm a stepfather, but they're my babies. You know, there's no other way to look at that. And we've talked about having children. She got her tubes tied. You know, so we've looked at the adoption route. It's actually cheaper for us to spend, you know, $10,000 or so to get her tubes untied than it is for us to adopt. You know, the government, you know, loves to subsidize a lot of things, abortion being one of them, but adoptions are not readily subsidized. There's not a lot of funding out there. A lot of these agencies, Catholic Charities and others that do some really good work with adoption, they're expensive. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand it takes a lot to raise a child and you need to have money, and I guess that's maybe part of their logic. But in the same respect, who's got $20,000 sitting around on top of the money that they make, you know, that are good parents? Good parents make it work with what they have. They do the best they can. They put love and the best interest of the child at hand, and they do whatever they have to do to make sure that they are thriving in their area. But when you will sit there and the government will sit there and say, okay, well, we'll pay for this for lower income people, we'll pay for that for lower income people, or we'll pay for all these subsidies for all these things, but yet take adoption off the table when it comes to those subsidies, that's a problem. That's a dishonest conversation, I feel like, because you're not looking at the actual practicality of what it takes to adopt someone. You know, we have a lot of babies in foster care. We have a lot of babies in adoption agencies that are staying there because some of this stuff is just too damn expensive for normal folks to be able to do it. You know,
your insurance pays for you to have a baby. You know, they pay your birthing costs and your stay in the hospital and all that. Well, what if a family opts to adopt instead of have a baby? You could almost make insurance. I'm not saying force. I hate bigger government or forcing businesses to do anything, but I'm just making an argument here. Well, you know, insurance should pay for your adoption costs if it's cheaper than what it would have cost to have had a baby.
Well, you know, that, and again, I'm not for big government either, but since this is the world we live in, the system that we have, if you're going to subsidize lower income families when it comes to food stamps, when it comes to electrical bills, when it comes to internet, when it comes to a lot of things, why not subsidize life?
Well, in theory, wouldn't the states want to get the children off the books that are in foster homes or foster care or not even a foster care, but orphanages and stuff like that are state run? Wouldn't it make more sense that if you can pass a good background check, it's clear and obvious you're a good person? Why should the money, upfront money, necessarily be the deal breaker one way or another?
I don't know. I think honestly, I think with some of these private charities, it has to do with operational costs and administrative costs. I think maybe housing the children and a lot of other things. But in the same respect, I don't know. I just have a problem with that it's nobody's explained it to me very well on why it's so expensive for adoption route. Now, again, there might be charities or things out there that I'm unaware of that make it a lot easier, that help subsidize, but they are not advertised. They are not easily available. I've looked into this left and right on a lot of things on the internet and have yet to find anything that would help, even just pay half, to make it easier for our family. I mean, we do well. I'm not loaded, but we do well. We own a house and I have a rental, and this, that, and the other, and we've got some savings in this. But to drop $20,000 is a lot. That's taken away from my other children as well. So I mean, it's definitely something that we've had to think of. It's definitely something that we've had to weigh as far as our options. And to be honest, unfortunately, it's just the way that it is and the way that it's set up. It's cheaper for us to get the tubal ligation reversal than it is for us to go in our own city, in our own state, and find a baby that was left behind by somebody or given up for adoption for probably a very good reason.
Yes,
that mother couldn't handle it, but
we just got a good.
Cheaper for us to do that than it is to adopt.
We just got a good text here that makes a lot of sense. And it's kind of articulated it better than I was trying to. It says, but the government pays foster parents. Why not help with adoption costs when some of these foster parents are only in it for the money anyway? And that's true. And I know some really good foster parents. Like we got a guy, BJ Sims, I think has 6 or 7 foster kids. So I know some really good dudes that are doing foster. So I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater here, but there are some that are strictly just doing it like a dang puppy mill.
Well, and there's another thing that I found out. We got some good friends that are fosters. So my mother was adopted. I've got several. My wife's got several nieces that were adopted. The adoption runs in our family. If not for adoption, I wouldn't be here. At least I wouldn't look like I'd look. I would be somewhere else, looking like somebody else. But anyway, when you foster a child, they're given a stipend. You're given money, okay, from the government. As a foster parent, if you're well off and you don't need that money, you cannot turn it down. They have to give it to you. So I know, like the family up here that we've talked with, they put the money in a savings account for the baby. So when the baby turns of age or they stop getting the foster money or whatever, they actually give the money to the child. But you cannot turn down the subsidies if you don't need them, which seems a little redundant or a little overkill because you don't need the money.
That's like the COVID money. You just got it. You couldn't send it back.
Yeah, it took more effort to opt out than it did to opt in. Kind of like cookies on a website.
Yeah.
So, but and with this thing, again, I want people to remember that you're entitled to your opinion on these things, and this is a hot button issue and it's a big thing. But everybody who has an argument one way or the other, remember, the only way that you're able to express that argument is because your parents chose life, not abortion.
Yeah, look, we come across very combative a lot of the times when we do shows like this and we get online and this, that, and the other, but I really do enjoy having conversations like the fellow that called a couple calls ago who said his opinions on it changed after his child was born. It's interesting to hear other people's point of view. I'm not going to change his mind arguing with him on the radio. So I'll hear him out, listen, and he can go live his life, and I'm going to have my opinions, and I'm going to go live mine. And, maybe we meet back in the middle somewhere down the road, but I don't see that right now.
I'm one of those that changed my mind. I used to be very liberal with it. I'm more conservative with it now. It's after becoming a father. It's definitely changed my opinion on it. But in the same respect, we're all allowed to have our opinions. If murder's illegal, and some people view this as murder. Some people don't. So that's why it's such a hot button topic. You know, if this was the difference in colors on a dress or something, some of the other things that have thrown the internet for a loop, then we wouldn't have such a heated debate on this. But we're talking about life, and again, you're entitled to change your opinions over the years and look at things differently. I absolutely agree that if someone is raped or someone, you know, is a victim of incest or something like that, that they should not have to have the baby.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. It's proven that.
But that is such a small percentage. You know, there should be, you know, or the health of the mother. God forbid I have to make a choice between my baby and my wife. You know, my wife has always said, "Don't choose me, choose the baby," and that's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow if that comes to fruition. But there should be some mild exceptions, I feel like, you know. But overall, I feel like if our government's going to subsidize and spend money on all this stuff, making adoption cheap, affordable, and sustainable would be a better option, because there are a lot of conservative-leaning people in this state who necessarily don't want to get an abortion, but truly don't feel like adoption is the way, because they don't know where the baby's going to go and if the baby's going to end up in a worse situation than it is.
Well, I don't even know that we would be in this situation right now. The left did this to themselves by continuing to push and push and push and push to the point that some, you know, where is it that they I think, is it California? Probably. We'll use California as a catch-all here. Is it California that's basically got a post-birth abortion at this point?
Yeah.
One of you know, that's why it makes it hard to give them anything, because if you give them an inch on incest and rape abortions, then they want to wait. Well, I don't like how this baby looks. Whack its head off, you know. So
yeah, and I think that's obviously insanity right there. I mean, most logical people who aren't on the far left or far right can agree in the middle that that's just insane. The thing that gets me though is here's another point. So I get it, you know. So a baby at around 5 or 6 months. My stepsister just had a premature baby, about 4 months premature. I've had another friend that had a baby at 6 months. Was in the ICU for forever. Those babies are healthier. They're happy. They are still alive. They're doing their things. They're growing. Troy's probably 7 now, doing great in school. All the developmental issues are taken care of that you have with a preemie baby. You know. So even an abortion up to 5, 6 months, you're talking a life there at that point. You know, we can argue about where it begins or whatever, but at that point, that's a life that can sustain itself with nutrients and care. You know, outside of the womb. So a 5-month abortion, 6-month abortion, I have issues with that too, because you know, given the chance, that baby can thrive and become a wonderful human being. So again, there's a lot of lines on this. There's a lot of nuances. There's a lot of gray area. But having honest conversations, taking some of the propaganda and putting it to the side, and just trying to see where the other person's coming from allows us to get through some of these harder issues to really try to find some common ground on some of this stuff.
Well, I tell you what, now statewide politicians are going to have to really let people know where they stand on these things. It's no longer punt it to the national level. These statewide politicians
that's right.
They're gonna have to man up and really let folks know exactly where they stand. I mean, they thought tiptoeing around the marijuana stuff was a landmine. Welcome to this.
Well, I just hate because instead of this being an opportunity to come together and find common ground and find solutions to issues and the wide range of problems that we have, I feel like it will separate us and cause more division, when the reality is, again, we have more in common than we do apart. When it comes to life.
Oh, look! I'm gonna tell you what. I wish I wasn't in Facebook jail, because it is about to be an all-out war on social media. So just sit back, and I don't want to say enjoy, because I don't know that it's going to be fun, but it's about to be an all-out war. You think the culture war's been bad? It just got ratcheted up 100 notches.
It's the road rage kind of thing. You know, people are safe in their car, in their bubble, and they feel comfortable talking crap. You know, the old grandma flip you off when she cuts you off kind of thing, but she's the sweetest lady in church. It's the same thing on Facebook. You know, people just get way, and I've been guilty of it, get too comfortable being able to just say the most outrageous things in the world, when in reality you wouldn't say that to someone's face.
I don't know, but I've never said nothing crazy online. Hey, Mike, I got to take a break, brother. Thank you so much for taking time this morning to talk to us.
Oh, thanks for your time, brother. You be safe.
All right, appreciate it. Have a blessed one. All right, hey, caller, stay on hold. I'm coming straight to you after the break. You're listening to the Clay Edwards Show on 103.9 WYAB. To the Clay Edwards Show. We're live here on 103.9 WYAB. We're streaming live at WYAB.com and on the TuneIn app. And if you missed any of the show, it's available on all major podcasting and music streaming platforms. Just go search Clay Edwards Show. This segment is brought to you by Complete Exteriors, Roofing, and Gutters. Complete Exteriors, Roofing, and Gutters in Pearl wants to help you determine who to use when you're seeking roof repair or work on your gutters. You need to choose a qualified, certified company that has a local brick and mortar building, a company that has been in business longer than 2 years and offers a warranty. Complete Exteriors has a 4.9 Google review and has been in business for over 16 years. Complete Exteriors, Roofing, and Gutters can provide you with a professional and honest look at your roof and gutters. Complete Exteriors, quality without compromise. You can check them out online at CompleteExteriorsMS.com. And also, they offer Roofs for Troops as a $250 rebate on new roofing systems for all active, military, veterans, and retirees. We had Joe Boyd, the owner of Complete Exteriors, on the show Friday. It was a great show, very knowledgeable, explained the insurance process, the claims process, all that. I highly recommend, if you're a homeowner or if you're in the market for a roof, to go listen to Friday's podcast with Joe Boyd from Complete Exteriors, Roofing, and Gutters. All right, man, we have had a caller sitting patiently on hold on the Mac Haik and Flowood phone line. Caller, you were live on the air. Thank you for holding on.
Hey, Clay.
Hey.
Scott, how's it going?
Hey, Scott. How you doing this morning, brother?
I'm doing great. So, I'll do deference to all your previous callers. This, as you full well know, this is always the third rail, and it gets the phone lines lit up for talk shows. But the fact is, you may as well be calling up saying, here's what I'd do if I had $1 billion. Because you don't, you're not going to get it anytime soon. And as fun as the conversation is, and as much as we could go on, only one thing matters, and that matters, the legal argument is what matters. Legally, what's being determined here is their personhood established under the law, not do I think, not do you think. What does the Constitution say? What do the founding documents and the laws of this country say? Because that's what the Supreme Court's going to have to look at. Is their personhood established in the womb? And the Declaration of Independence, which is a founding legal document of this nation, says we are all endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, all three of which are deprived when an abortion occurs. So that's the question, is does the law of the land establish personhood in the womb? And it's very clear in the language that we have a creator. By definition, if we have a creator, we have a creation. A creation is the same thing as conception. It's a synonym. It's no different. When something is created, when God created the heaven and the earth, he conceived of it. When an artist creates a sculpture, they conceive of it in their mind, and at the time they're creating it, they're putting their conceived notions into actual creation. They're making what they're thinking of. It's something that's been conceived of and created. And that's what the law is going to look at. And I think it's very clear. And that's just the problem with Roe v. Wade, and the reason why people say, well, it's the law of the land, but others say, yeah, but it's flawed laws, because at the end of the day, it comes down to what the attorneys argue, and it's been so long ago, so few people have looked at it. But nobody argued personhood in the womb, not effectively, and not as a main part of their argument. There's the other argument of states' rights and the enumerated powers of the federal government, and that's one of the issues. The reason why states are passing these things and they're moving them up through the courts, they're challenging it. They're looking at the states' rights aspect of it. But at the end of the day, the question is it a person? And to that caller you referred to a couple of calls back, who was very reasonable and measured and, had a good tone. That's all fun and well. But when you say, hey, I can't tell a woman what to do, it's not my place. Why can't I tell a woman what to do, Clay? Is it because it's her life and she has certain rights, inalienable rights? Well, that's what we've decided as a society. I can't tell a woman what to do because it's her life. And the same thing applies to her. She can't decide for a baby if it has a life or not, because it's not her life. The same logic applies. That caller needs to look at themselves and say, if I can't tell her what to do, if I can't end her life or make big decisions for her like that, why can she end the life of another being? It's got to be consistent. Like you said, if we're going to have these liberal laws, let's just follow them to their consistency and their true end.
If it's her body, her choice, then the kid has the same thing. It's my body, it's my life, it's my choice.
Yeah, and there are unfortunately far too many suicides happening in this day and age, but that's their choice. And they've gotten to the point, if you're old enough to actually physically perform the act of suicide, then apparently you're old enough to make that choice. If you don't want to be in this earth anymore, that's, it's horrible. We shouldn't, there's any number of reasons why that shouldn't happen. But ultimately, that's that person's choice.
No, Scott,
and we don't get to make that choice for them in the womb. And that's the legal question. Is it personhood or not? All the rest of it doesn't matter. I would say this one last thing, though, Clay.
Yes.
For the people who say, well, rape and incest. I love Ben Shapiro's arguments when he's on these college campuses. He says, okay, well, that's the definition of a straw man. You take that 0.2% or whatever the statistic is, and you justify everything else through that. Before we talk about rape and incest, which is already illegal and punishable by jail time and other significant punishment in every state that I know of, before we talk about that, which I will agree with you on is terrible, can we agree first that all abortions, as a matter of convenience, are horrific and should be illegal? And make that person, if anybody ever says rape or incest, say, okay, I'll go down that road with you, but let's first establish that all abortions of convenience are horrific, it's an unnecessary taking of life, and it's wrong legally, ethically, and morally. And if they want to agree with you on that, I'm not talking about rape or incest with you.
Amen. I actually heard Shapiro make that. I watched one of his videos last week, and he made that same point. So I appreciate you bringing that up. You can never go wrong referencing Ben Shapiro on this show.
Hoorah. Talk to you later, Clay.
Thank you, Scott. Great call. High heat this morning, brother. I appreciate it. Look, Scott is a longtime friend of mine and longtime collaborator here on the show, and I much, much appreciate Scott. All right, we've had another caller sitting on hold patiently on the Matt Haik of Flowood phone line. Hey, caller, you were on the air.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to say we was talking about the crime problem in Jackson down at the Mud Bug, but about the Dracos and everything. But what about that? We started having a gun show down there that's bringing guns into the inner community. So why don't they gonna cancel out? You say they should cancel out the festivals and all that in Jackson. But why won't they cancel out the gun shows that's in Jackson and put them over in Madison or Brandon or somewhere? I'm sure there's places over there to hold it at also.
Well, to clear that up a little bit, I don't think they should cancel anything in Jackson. I believe that, unfortunately, that the festivals will get canceled because of lack of participation, because people want to go where they feel safe. As far as the gun shows go, people have a Second Amendment right to go buy guns if they're, I believe it's 18 or 21 and older, whatever it is. I've been buying guns so long I forget the exact age. So as long as you were legally buying a gun, I don't care where you buy it at. If you're legally buying it, that is your inalienable right. As an American, you have Second Amendment rights. It is having enough sanity to not use it against people for no reason.
Yeah, but okay, if someone is trying to get off drugs, why would they continue to put someone around drugs? So if the city is impoverished with crime, why there isn't a crowd about, well, hell, let's just stop bringing the gun show down here and maybe put it in another city, and maybe that will help control it. So
let's use
like a two-headed sword.
Let's use a better argument instead of drugs, because drugs are illegal. Let's say medicine, legal medicine. You can get pain pills. You can get pain pills at Walgreens or any drugstore. So let's use that as an example here. Are you going to punish the people who are responsibly using their medicine to keep it out of the people who aren't hands?
Well, to me, I wouldn't say that, but
well, that makes sense. I mean, I'm with you. I get your point. I don't agree with you, but I get your point. I know your heart's in a good place on it. I understand it, but I'm not going to punish people who aren't doing wrong to keep people from doing wrong. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
brother, look, hey,
it does. Yeah.
Great phone call. I appreciate you staying on hold. I got to take a break. Hope you stay tuned in. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, great call there. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show on 103.9 WYAB. All right, welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. We are live here on 103.9.com. I'm sorry, not 103.9.com. 103.9 FM, WYAB, and streaming live at WYAB.com and on the TuneIn app. Look, we have got the call logs jammed up here on the Matt Haik of Flowood phone line, so let's just jump straight in here. Hey, caller, you're on there.
I have a question.
Yes.
Has the mayor of Jackson said anything about the shooting at the festival?
Hey, he has. I've got the video pulled up here. It's about 2 minutes long. I was going to play it here in a minute. He said that Jackson is safe.
It just amazes me that everybody complains that these kids have nothing to do, but when we do bring things to Jackson, that is fun. I mean, I can remember taking my children to like the Miller Lite Festival down there with concerts and everything.
Oh, yeah.
When they were
Great
small,
time.
I was not terrified to take them, and we enjoyed ourselves. But I'm scared to death to even take my children to any event at the fairgrounds now. I have not been to the fair in 5 years for that reason. So I'm just curious, everybody wants to fuss, but they're not aiming their aggression towards the right people.
No, the mirror. They need that point in the mirror. That is the right person. We used to be held accountable for what our kids did. Well, if we can hold parents accountable for their kid taking a gun to a school and shooting kids like they did the parents in Michigan, then we should be able to take the parents accountable here, or make the parents accountable here, whose kids go to a crawfish bowl with an AR-15 and shoot 5 people. I don't understand why we don't do that.
We used to could go to jail if our kids didn't even attend school.
I know I almost got my mama arrested. I'm kidding, but it's
and I worried about, I had 2 sons, so trust me, I worried about that also. But, there's no fear in society anymore. There's no want to anymore, and I'll leave it at that. And I enjoy your show, and thank you for being the voice of the people that have not.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you. And I'll keep on fighting as long as y'all keep listening. So thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Bye-bye. All right, we've got another caller on hold here. Hey, caller, thank you for staying on hold. You're on live on the air.
All right, Clay, this is Chris calling this morning.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, and you?
Good, brother.
Now, the whole thing about the mayor, well, he said that state fairground is run and controlled by the state. That's what he said at the press conference. He said anything got to do with security at the fairgrounds is a state problem. That's why that person came out.
And he is correct. He is correct. It is ran by the state, and that is what it is. But his part about saying Jackson is safe, I almost fell out of my chair. I mean, I wasn't surprised.
That's Now the whole gun show thing, and I want to say about this. These kids are not buying these guns from the gun shows. Somebody's buying the Polo and I, and they're giving it to them or selling it to them. But they're not going to the gun shows and buying these guns from gun shows or the pawn shops. You go in the pawn shop in Jackson, you can see those same guns hanging up on the wall. They cannot go to no pawn shops and buy them Dracos, ARs, and get them guns and turn around and go do what they did.
Yeah,
Somebody's buying the form like the girlfriend, sister, mama, daddy, whoever. So all they got to do, trace the bullets to the gun and trace the gun through the barrel and find out who bought some guns for them.
No, I agree 100%. I had this conversation with somebody last week, and look, I'm not for any more gun control, but I said, I just need to understand one thing, though. Why is it that I have to do an FBI background check to buy a new gun, but I can go sell my gun? I can sell my guns to a felon legally, or just not, or not get in trouble anyway. I don't know if it's legal, but I can, as long as I just pretend I don't know he's a felon, I'm okay.
Exactly. And another thing I'm gonna tell you, if you try to go pawn those guns, and try to go get it back, you still gotta go through the same background check again.
I didn't realize that. I've never pawned one. That makes sense.
Yeah, so that's no. I did that. I didn't pawn my gun for a different situation.
Hey, I've pawned stuff. Don't get me wrong. I just didn't, not my gun.
Yeah, so you got to file the same paperwork you did like you just bought it, just to even get it back.
Yeah, it's why.
That's another thing. So they need to watch out for the abortion thing. I think they need to do that because they always talk about the woman's body. And, then turn around. So, okay, what about the man's choice? Do the man want to have the baby so he don't got no say in the baby?
Yeah, I know. That's exactly what I said. I don't have anything else to add to it because you're 100% right. If we can help make the baby, it takes two. We got to pay child support if it's born. We don't get any, so why wouldn't we have some say-so in if it's going to be aborted or not?
Exactly. So that's all I had to say today. Have a good one.
Well, I appreciate you, brother. Have a blessed day.
You too, thanks.
All right, we got another call here on the Matt Haik of Flowood phone line. Hey, caller, you're on there.
Shalom, peace unto all men. Good morning, this is Master D.
Hey, Master D, how you doing this morning?
Hey, one of the saddest problems about Jackson is they have a $400 million budget, and Madison have a $83 million budget with a little COVID infused. What I like to see is the whole city budget rewritten, because if you look at the neighboring municipalities, they have a lower budget, like Little Rock and some like Montgomery. Well, I think it's about Birmingham. They're operating off 200+ million. Jackson have 400 million budget. I think what's going on is they're cooking the books. Certain people are getting the contracts. And you have these old white Masons throwing back kickback to the black Masons, and it's some sort of funny thing going on. I was told, even as a journalist, that $200 million of our money in Jackson somehow funneled to Madison. I don't know if it's true or not, but when it comes to the budget, those neighboring municipalities have 500 million member police force and around about 100 or so civilian force. So the priority is not being placed just on fighting crime, because you really can't prevent crime. Crime is a sinful act. It's transgression against sin, or it's a transgression of law. So we kind of blowing a lot of smoke around when we talk about do something about the crime. It's really the nature of the people and the setting of the city. It's a very corrupt city. So if you want to get down to the big but nitty-gritty of it, it's a very corrupt city. It's a very toxic atmosphere. It's starting all the way in the governors. It's the front page today. All the corruption is going on. And that somehow is funneled down to the drug dealers. And all these people know each other. Politicians know criminals. It's just on and on and on and on. But what my prediction is going to be, Clay, I'm going to tell you what's my prediction going to be. There's going to be a series of tornadoes come through here, and it's going to change this state.
You know, Master D, I'm glad you said that, because I've told my friend, I've told my wife that, it feels like we're living in a bit of Sodom and Gomorrah here, and we're due something to come and give us a hard, and I'm talking about locally too, a hard reset, whether it's tornadoes or something tragic, and even on a nationwide level. I'm afraid that if 9/11 happened today, I'm getting a little off track here, but same concept. If 9/11 happened today, we're so polarized that we would just be pointing at, well, was it a Muslim? Was it a white person? Was it a black person? Well, what's my political side on it? Man, we got to get back to God and hit the reset button on this stuff.
Clay.
Yes, sir.
If you go out and when you leave the station and just tell people, hey, what you think about nuclear war? Do they really think Russia is playing a game? I mean, you got the military-industrial complex. And I'm going to tell you something, but both white people and black people don't know in this state. All those javelins, all those stingrays and devil milks they're made right here in Gluckstadt, Meridian, and right over there in Mouser. And they already said they're going to blow Mississippi off the map if they have to. So anybody think I'm lying, go to your Google and find out where all these Raytheons and companies that's funding that military-industrial complex. It's a serious game.
The shipyards down on the coast. I mean, we're
all down on the coast.
Yep.
The plan is to blow Mississippi and several other southern states off the map. And before this war started, a lot of people didn't know Putin had already tucked up a submarine off the California coast and say, play with it if you want to. They think it's a game. And Donald Trump was the best hope for this country, but it's going down fast. Public, y'all have a good day, and may God bless America.
Thank you, Mr. Master D.
For the righteous. Thank you.
Master D is a legend on the local talk show circuit here, man. So the fact that he is calling into the Clay Edwards show almost makes me feel like we've made it a little bit. So much appreciated, Master D. And look, he ain't wrong, man. We are a sitting duck here in Mississippi if it really pops off, which I don't necessarily believe that's going to be the case, but he's right about the tornadoes. Something's going to happen, and we're going to have to come together somehow, some way. But I'm not God, so I don't know what to tell you. But somebody texted in and said, Master D is prophetic. And I believe him. He is. All right, we're going to take our last break of the day, come back, land the plane for the day. It's been a great show. I appreciate all you guys listening. Stay tuned. 103.9 WYAB. Hey, welcome back into the Clay Edwards show. We got a couple minutes left here as we get ready to land the plane for the day. You got Mike Madison coming up next. I'm sure he's got a big show planned. I always look forward to listening to Mike on my ride back across the country to Brandon. Hey, real quick, man, if you need your car detailed or ceramic coated, or say you've got some older paint on your car, everybody's keeping their cars a little bit longer now due to it just being a nightmare to get a new car, or used ones maybe being a little too expensive for them, or whatever your budget issues are with inflation and everything. Just people are holding on to their cars longer and longer. Why don't you protect your paint while you're holding on to your car longer? Bring it by Auto Armour and Flowood. Let us polish it out, get you a ceramic coating on it. Or if ceramic coating is a little outside your budget, let us polish it, and we'll get a good 12-month coating on it and save you a little money and get your paint protected, get it looking like new. And it's actually going to add to the resale value of your vehicle when you get ready to sell it down the road, whether it's a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road. If the paint and clear coat look new, it is going to pay for itself then some, especially if it comes down to your car with nice polished and coated paint versus sun-faded, dull, and not polished and coated paint. Check us out online at AutoArmourMS.com or give us a call at 601-260-0858. That's Auto Armour. In Flowood, we are unapologetically American-owned and operated. All right, man, look, I appreciate everybody calling in today. Today was a good show. It really was a good show. Yesterday was a great show, too. If you missed anything, I gave my opinions on the Napoleon Edwards, cipher voice, Polo murder accusations, all of that on the first 20 minutes of the show. You can go back and check that out on the podcast. We had some great calls discussing the Roe Vs Wade possibly being overturned. Mike called in with a great story about adoption and how hard that is in probably nationally, but specifically here in Mississippi from a funding issue. Scott had a great call. We had a bunch of great calls today. So tune in, check it out. I'll be back here tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. It's just a 1-hour show. The rest of the week, I will be filling in for Jim Thorne Friday. So Friday will be a special 2-hour edition of the show as we host his music show for him as well. Thank you for tuning in today. Check us out online at clayedwardsshow.com.
Thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow at 7 a.m. as the Clay Edwards Show discusses all that is going on in and around the city of Jackson.
This concludes our broadcast day.
Right here on 103.9 WYAB.